Zion Williamson is finally healthy, and we are really seeing why he was the most hyped draft prospect since LeBron James. I'm making this video just after Zion dropped 35 in back-to-back games against the Phoenix Suns and made their entire franchise cry, and I'm beginning to realise we are witnessing young greatness in this man. He's currently led the Pelicans, a team that scraped into the playoffs last year, to the #1 seed in the Western Conference as the best player on that team. He's also already breaking records this season, as he has scored the most points ever in an NBA player's first 100 games, only bettered by Michael Jordan. Pretty good company to be in. Not only that, he's a legitimate MVP candidate at the moment, averaging 25 points and 7 boards a game on a ridiculous 61% shooting from the field. Scary part about that is that his numbers are only going to look better, and during this 7-game win streak that Zion has led the Pelicans on, he's averaging 30 points, 9 boards on 66% shooting. I mean, this is actually insane, and a lot of us don't even realise. Let me put into perspective how ridiculous Zion is at the moment. The last player to average more than 25 points on 60% from the field was 34 years ago, when Hall of Famer Kevin McHale did it. Even if we put it down to 23 points a game, only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain have done it. I mean, look at the common denominator here. All these guys were all-time great big men. Zion is far from being a traditional big man. He's 6'6", built like a train, and can jump 50 inches in the air. I mean, we really haven't seen anything like him before. Not only that, his playmaking has been great this year. His ability to collapse the defense and assist his teammates is fantastic, and he has looked good playing point guard for possessions in games. His dynamic ability as a basketball player could take the Pelicans very far this year, especially when he's surrounded by killers like Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. On top of that, he is literally the most unguardable player in the world this season. He creates the biggest mismatch on average possessions more than anyone else in the league by a far margin. But for me, the thing that really excites me about Zion is that this season he has shown he's got a killer instinct in him and that he won't back down. After 2 years of memes and getting constant slack from the media about his weight and appearance, it's so good to see Zion shut people up. It seemed like people forgot just how good Zion was when he played, and how hyped he was for a reason. He's truly a generational talent that could become the next face of the league like LeBron has been. His attitude this year has also been amazing, and I loved his play against the Suns. After dropping 33 points with the game over, he pulled this off even with the commentators telling him not to.
It's over. Pels. No. Get it done. And on the spin and the reverse, the slam by Zion.
Sending the Suns into a frenzy, with CP3 getting really wound up, which isn't really a surprise to anyone. To understand this situation fully though, we have to remember the first round of last year's playoffs. The 8th-seeded Pelicans without Zion took the first-seed Suns all the way to 6 games, with role players like Jose Alvarado getting into Hall of Famer Chris Paul's head, with press conference antics like CP acting like he didn't know Jose's name.
Like I said, he's going to be a Hall of Fame, but he knows my name now too.
You know, we knew Alvarado. We knew he was going to be picking up, high energy.
So we fast forward to the other night's game, with Zion back and the winner of said game becoming the first seed in the West. That dunk was a statement, and Zion knew that. Zion announced that he was here, and the Pelicans are not a team to be messed with this year. His post-game interview only further confirmed this.
It was a little out of character for me, but you gotta understand. I mean, you can understand it or not. They sent my teammates home last year. I missed all last year. I got carried away a little bit. I admit that. But, I was in that locker room. My brothers were down because, the Suns sent us home last year. That's a tough moment to be a part of.
Zion is out for vengeance this year. The even funnier thing is, after the Suns got angry over the situation, they played each other in the next game, and Zion would come out and drop them off again, scoring 35 points on just 13 shots, sending the Suns down to the 4th seed. This is young LeBron type stuff we are seeing from Zion, and if he keeps this up, he could really be in MVP conversations at the end of the year. He is certainly a top 3 candidate at the moment for me, only behind Giannis and Tatum. Jason Tatum has been the obvious front runner for the MVP so far this year, averaging great numbers on the clear best team in basketball while playing elite defense. I mean, he's been unbelievable. Giannis is right behind him, but for me, he's been in and out of the lineups a little bit too much for me to give him the nod to be number one. And then at third, it's Zion, and he could easily catch some of his Terriers on as well. Luka is definitely there, but the Mavs have been very average this season, and I'm not sure they're going to have enough wins for them to give him the award. Regardless, no one is running away with the MVP so far this year, and is definitely there for the taking if Zion keeps this up. It's going to be an amazing MVP race. Another big thing about Zion this year that had been lacking in his other 2 seasons is his defense. Zion has been quite lackluster on the defensive end in the past, especially with him having all the tools and athleticism to be a great defender, and also of how good of a defender he was in college. But this year, he's been far more engaged on the defensive end, and been much better as well. He's even shown that in post-game pressers, where he seems like he genuinely wants to be rated as a good defender.
How would you rate my defense tonight? Be honest, there's no wrong answers. Be honest. I can accept that.
And he's certainly proving himself in that aspect, averaging 1.6 steals and a block a game in his recent 7-game tear. I mean, the Pelicans, whose starting 5 on paper does not look good defensively, especially with Valanciunas and CJ McCollum out there, are the 3rd best defense in the league at the moment, which is actually insane, and a lot of it has to do with their best player in Zion making a huge effort on the defensive end, and of course, defensive studs Herb Jones and Dyson Daniels have been fantastic as well. It really seems like Zion is starting to put it all together now. He just needs to stay healthy, because he's looking like the most efficient 25 point per game scorer the league has ever seen, who's locked in defensively and can jump out the gym. Not only that, unlike young stars in the past such as Luka and a young LeBron, Zion actually has a very good team. The Pelicans could genuinely make it out the West this year. They are super deep, have 3 guys that can handle the ball and score at ease, and have brilliant role players who can stretch the floor and defend at a high level. On top of that, Z is still only 22 years old, which is so scary for the league. Of course, the big thing people will always say is, wait until the playoffs, he can't shoot. And it's definitely a valid statement, but he still has plenty of time, and with his mindset at the moment and how locked in he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he developed a decent jump shot in a few seasons, just like LeBron did in the late 2000s. For me, Zion is becoming the closest thing we have seen to a young LeBron. Of course his physique is very different, but they are both extremely fast, can score in the paint with ease, uber athletic, and both are plus defenders. But of course, young LeBron is very different to the LeBron who is a top 3 player of all time. Zion still has rounding out of his game to do if he wants to go down as an all-time level player. He's shown he's a gifted playmaker this season, but his shooting definitely will need work. Or maybe it won't, because no one has been able to stop him from getting to the basket yet. Regardless, Zion Williamson is the best player on the best team in the West at the moment, and he's announced his arrival to the NBA. The league should seriously be worried about this Zion-led Pelicans team, and maybe once June time comes, we will have a new NBA MVP. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.